Hey everybody, good evening. Good to see you all. What up, Marku? Never have any good sense for what day people tend to like to watch these things. It seems like the weekends are a little bit fewer folks, but then sometimes not really much rhyme or reason. So anyhow, this is not going to be the last Darkstream on Periscope, but it is going to be the penultimate one that is only on Periscope. I'm not going to start tweeting again. I'm pretty much I'm done with Twitter. I actually half quit Twitter once before, and then managed to get my account unlocked and all that sort of thing, and then they promptly suspended it again within a couple weeks, and so so I just bagged it. The volume's always low. I can't do anything about that. No, it's not true that I'm banned. They simply have it set up so that I have to give them a telephone number if I want to get my account unsuspended, and so I'm just not that. I'm not really interested in using a medium that is directly opposed to what I believe, what I stand for, and who actually acts to try to limit access to my blog. So, so you can see I'm wearing a Gab shirt tonight. There's a reason for that, and the reason that I am wearing the Gab shirt. Time to get rid of this. Time to get rid of the troll. Anyhow, oh, thanks for buying it, and glad you like it so far, and make sure that you write a review on Amazon if you get a chance. Anyhow, the reason I'm wearing my Gab shirt tonight is because tomorrow night at this time, I guess it's your afternoon or evening, I am going to be the first non-Gab personnel to be broadcasting on Gab TV. So I'm kind of excited about that. Suck it, Chernovich. Anyhow, the way you'll access it is I'll provide a link to the stream, to the channel that they've devoted to me. And so then, if you've got a Gab account, then you can see the stream. It's a little bit different. I don't know how the comments work. There's definitely comments, but I don't think they show up on the actual screen that I'm looking at. I think they'll show up on a separate one. No, you can't watch right now. Initially, Gab TV does not record, so it's just going to be a live stream. It's going to basically be like live TV. You gotta hop on there and get it. I think that you will get alerts. You'll have to ask Andrew about that too. Yeah, I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue periscoping. And so, I'm just not going to do it every night. I think the idea initially is that I'll probably do twice a week on Gab, and then 4 or 5 days a week here on Periscope. And we'll see how it goes. I have no idea. I have no idea how many people are going to watch it. Here. Obviously here, there's about 3,000 total views between the live and the replays. I have no idea whether there's going to be 15 people watching it or 15,000 on Gab. I have literally no idea, and so we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, if there's a lot more people watching these on Gab TV, I'll eventually migrate more and more there. I don't know. I don't know if the audience here will be. I mean, you would assume so, except for the fact that I only have 1,500 followers on Periscope, but then there's pretty good turnout here compared to Mike has like 63,000. Am I offended by? No, I'm not offended by white supremacy accusations. I just think they're stupid. That's all. I mean, do you run around telling black people they're white supremacists? Then why are you running around telling American Indians they're white supremacists? It's absurd. Um, we can't record I mean, if you're watching the live stream and you have a way of recording it, then that theoretically would be one way to do it. But there's they'll have it eventually. You know, it's coming. I mean, you got to keep in mind, I'm basically as you can see, original beta tester for Gab, and so what I'll be doing, you know, this is all we'll be, you know, discovering bugs and finding problems. You know, I've been in game development for 27 years, and so you know, that's the way that it works. You know, so it's bleeding edge stuff, which means there's going to be problems, things will go wrong, and that sort of thing. I'm not going to be upset about it, and so you know, everybody else should just sit tight too. You know, we'll sort it out. And then let's see. You know, we're also going to be doing some other stuff. I'm interested in hearing more about Scott's multicast system. That's of real interest to me. Next week, I'll have announcements on the book club. Hopefully we're going to make a final decision about exactly how we're going to do that Wednesday, Thursday of this coming week. And so that's going to be fantastic. All right, we got these. So anyhow, it's exciting times. We've got a lot of stuff coming. You know, we've decided that we're going to call the Reddit function rehash. And you know, not the most attractive name or anything, but it works. And so, you know, those who are like, there's no need to respond to these folks. I'm just nuking them as they come in. I mean, you know, if they want to engage in bants or something, they can do it on Twitter. I'm not interested. I don't really have a lot of time or inclination to try to, you know, argue with people with IQs that are 50 points below mine. So anyhow, you know, first we're going to get, we'll probably get news up first. The Infogalactic news is coming very quickly. You'll be able to know it's up because if you go to infogalactic.com, you will see a new front page that looks more like the Wikipedia one with an updated news and all that sort of thing. And then you'll be able to go directly to the Drudge Report style news page. So, you know, this is going to be big. I mean, you know, if you think about it, what we're looking at doing with Infogalactic there is something that news is within days. Yes, I was just talking to the lead editor tonight, and he's got nearly a full roster of editors. So they're gearing up. They're just waiting for the go ahead signal. But if you think about it. Oh my. Anyhow, if you think about it, Infogalactic promises to combine Wikipedia, Drudge Report, and Reddit. You know, that's going to be a massive, massive thing. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm accustomed to trolls. You know, we've had trolls, in fact, that were so severe at VP that I twice had to call the police in their local jurisdiction, and the police were so concerned in one case about what the troll had posted that they literally had me on the phone with the cop that they sent to the house within 5 minutes of me calling. And so, I mean, these trolls are nothing. So, you know, they're just looking. I mean, here's the thing that you need to keep in mind when you're dealing with trolls, is that their primary purpose is to try to get you to engage. You know, so those folks are trying to get you to engage in discussing whatever it is. You know, if they bring up white supremacism, they want you to deny that you're a white supremacist. If they call you racist, they want you to deny that you're racist. It's a fool's game. Don't play it. Just nuke them. There's absolutely no need to engage with them. And so, you know, and the thing that's great about this is that, you know, this is not something that I'm doing. This is not something that any one person is doing. This is something that an entire community of people are doing. And, you know, it doesn't matter. They can destroy my reputation. The Food Network. I don't even know what he's talking about there. Anyhow, but the point is that they will. What was I going to say? You know, it doesn't matter. They can't destroy my reputation. They can't destroy Milo's reputation. They can't destroy Stefan's reputation, because we don't have any. You know, they already call us every name in the book, and so that gives us complete freedom. It gives us complete carte blanche to do and say whatever we like without consequence. Now, obviously, you know, there's always the risk that they'll try to Theo Van Gogh you or shut you down or whatever, but that doesn't even matter, because everything is getting set up in a very anti-fragile way. You know, if I vanish tomorrow, that's not going to change a thing. All the stuff that we're setting up is all going to be in place. It's all going to be taking off, and you know, I mean, it's kind of funny because some of the stuff, you know, I barely know what's going on. You know, the people take the ball and they run with it, they roll with it. They don't wait for direction. They don't wait for commands. And hey, another one. You know, we should turn this into a drinking game. Every time a troll pops up and gets banned, you have to take a shot. Probably not a good idea on a work night. But so, oh, there we go. Spontaneous trolls are funded. I think a little of both. I think most of these types are probably just your generic SJWs. You know, obviously I'm a prime target for SJWs because of SJWs always lie, and so, you know, they will always attempt to, you know, post, you know, non-review reviews and all that sort of thing. It's fine. It's normal. Like I said, you know, I've been dealing with this stuff since 2001 when my column first appeared, and so, well, they're not so much coordinated talking points. You need to understand how the left works. Basically, they take their lead from the elite media. So, what these guys are, with the whole like white supremacist meme, is something that they've taken from it's the guy named like Jeet Herber or Heeb Gerber or some ridiculous name. I think he's at I can't remember if it's like it's not the Atlantic, but it's something like that. I can't even remember his publication. But basically, you know, he was the one who like floated that during the rabid. Yeah, Jeet Heer, that's it. Jeet Heer had floated that in the rabid puppy days, and so you know, they pick it up and then they try to roll with it. Now, it's interesting to me. I mean, these are obviously like Twitter types, because nobody who's what I would call a more serious critic even attempts that sort of thing anymore. You know, it's very easy to effectively deal with it in an environment like the blog, and so right, and that's exactly what the opposition party, what the opposition media is designed to do. It's designed to be opinion leaders. They lead the opinion. They give them their talking points, and they tell them what to think and what to say. You know, so that's why they'll run around and say, you know, Richard Spencer is a Nazi. You know, Vox Day is a white supremacist. It's very, very easy to deal with these things. But what they try to do is they try to just, you know, keep pushing the method, keep pushing the message, keep pushing the message out there, and they hope that it will stick just on the basis of the accusations. Now, of course, it's very, very, like in some cases, it's very, very easy to dismiss. You know, that's why so many people, when I mentioned that I was a American Indian, that's why they, you know, the media actually dropped it very quickly, because they didn't want to get caught calling an American Indian a white supremacist. You know, these guys, these are the low-level morons who I mean, they're literally 18 months behind the current narrative, but it's fine. I mean, you know, these things, this is what they do. one of the things that I want you to see and recognize is that it doesn't harm you. They can call you all the names they want, and it makes no difference. You know, I mean, look, it doesn't. The Guardian can call Gab a alt-right hate site. It's not going to harm it. All that means is that thousands and thousands of more people are going to come to Gab to check it out, and realize that the media is lying again. And so that's why it's so important not to accept the narrative. You know, just completely reject it. And that's why the Guardian is losing so much money, because they're in the business of selling lies, and people are increasingly disinclined to buy it. So, okay, so we mentioned that we got news coming, we got rehash coming, and the vet for Trump. That's funny. Yeah, it's good. Will these organizations forever be propped up? No, I don't think so, because we're already seeing places like Hungary and places like Russia directly take on Soros and his organization. And so, if and I hope that Bannon advises the God Emperor to do so, if they start pursuing Soros's organization with RICO charges, that's going to completely shut this stuff down. And so I think that will probably happen in the relatively near future. Yeah, and so you see what's happening. Already, the media covers what comes up with this narrative, and yet it doesn't make any difference to what the God Emperor does. He just goes ahead and and gets things going with ICE and so forth. They can. And what's interesting is actually it's the left that is eager to get that travel ban back in court. It's the God Emperor is fine with leaving things as they are. He's absolutely fine, because he wants to make sure that they don't get some sort of court precedent. The courts can rule whatever they want, as long as there's not a Supreme Court ruling. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference. And so, if Trump had wanted to, he could have issued another executive order 5 minutes later, but he didn't. So he knows what he's doing. People always have a tendency to look too closely at the direct tactic, and so they don't have any need to. They don't look at the strategy. They don't look at how it works, and so. But here's the thing. A lot of people that get upset about the trolls and these guys trying to pop up and try to distract and disrupt. I think it's fantastic. Why? I mean, can you tell me why I am encouraged whenever I see this kind of stuff? Go ahead, guess. Exactly. Flak means you're over the target. When they are targeting you, that means that you are hurting them. When they ignore you, you're not doing anything effective. If they're just paying you no attention, that means that you're doing something wrong. And so, it's the lesson from Gamergate. What is the lesson of the gamer? It's the enemies are in the right direction. If you're playing a game and you're wandering around and there's nothing in the halls, that's an area that's a dead end. You've already cleared that out. You want to go where the bad guys are. You want to go where you hear the scary sounds. You want to go where the monsters are. And so, every time I see trolls hopping up, every time I see attack pieces in the media, my first thought is, good. Clearly this is making a difference. Clearly this is working. And so, if you're not taking criticism, and to a certain extent, Jesus Christ even said this and warned us of it. They will hate you as they hated me. If the evil of the world does not hate you, you are not doing something right. If the evil of the world is not attacking you, then you really need to be questioning what you're doing. You know, the name of the game is not to have everyone like you and think well of you. Why would you want evil people? Why would you want the forces of these disgusting, you know, pedophiles and just depraved, horrible individuals thinking well of you? I mean, wouldn't that make you wonder about yourself? You know, if you see somebody who's just this horrendous train wreck of a person, and they're like, you know, I think you're great, you're wonderful. I mean, does that really make you feel good? You know, so I mean, I've had dinner one night with 2 stars from NPR, National Public Radio. This was some time ago, and it was kind of funny because I was with my wife, and the 4 of us had dinner. And you know, they're very nice women, nice people. But you know, after the dinner, my wife said, I thought those people were going to be like really smart. And she said, but they didn't really seem to know much. I said, of course they don't. You know, they're journalists. Their whole shtick, their whole job is to know just enough about it, just enough about everything to be able to sound like they know about it. And so, you know, that's why when you talk to them, they'll always say, you'll say, oh, you know, have you heard of Aristotle? Do you know Aristotle's right? Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of that. Well, that's all they've ever done. They don't know it. They know nothing. Even the ones who are writing the scripts. It's not just the talking heads. I mean, everybody understands that the talking heads are morons. You know, they're there because they have good hair, or they're pretty, you know, that sort of thing. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the actual journalists, the actual opinion writers, are not very smart and don't know very much. Now, you know, you don't realize this until some of these people do a story about you, and they get just the most basic stuff wrong. There has never been a single mainstream media story about me, dating back to, you know, the earliest days when I was doing computer games. They have never, ever, good choice, I like nice to sit down here. They have never, ever done a story, even one that was only 4 sentences long, without getting at least one basic factual error, without including at least one basic factual error. Okay? So they don't do their homework, and they don't do their research. Question: is it unlikely for high intelligence and masculinity to go together? I wouldn't say it's quite unlikely, but I do think that the intelligent do struggle with masculinity in a way that people of average and lower intelligence don't. I don't know exactly why that is. I know in some cases it's because, you know, I mean, I was the youngest in my class. You know, I was half the size of some of the other guys. You know, how do you learn to be masculine in that environment? You know, when you're not just, you know, smaller than all the guys, you're smaller than most of the girls too. How did I do it? Well, first of all, I was a very good athlete, so that helped. But what really helped me a lot was I joined a martial arts dojo when I was 22, I think, and got the shit kicked out of me for 6 years. You know, no, it was a full-blown karate, Wing Chun, Kali, with some. It was really MMA before they called it MMA, and you know, you hit the weights, you learn how to throw a punch, and you learn how to take a punch, and most importantly, you get your ass kicked, so that you reach that moment when you're lying flat on your back, and you're in pain, and you know that if you get up, they're going to punch you in the face and knock you down again. Okay? That is where the true measure of the man is discovered. You can say you're hurt. You can come up with some excuse to not get up. But the real man gets up. The real man pushes himself up to take a beating, and he knows it. He knows it's coming, and he does it anyway. And the thing is that once you do that, you have passed the test. It is the equivalent of the tribal rite of passage. Okay? You will never doubt yourself again in the same way after you've taken that kind of punch. I mean, and you see the same thing sometimes in people who have had come back from devastating illnesses. They have a level of stoicism and toughness that nobody else has. Sometimes not even military veterans. There's no substitute for experience. You can theorize all you want. You can think about, oh, I would do this or I would do that, but you never ever know. You don't know. And I didn't know. I didn't know that I was that tough. Because being tough is not about what you can do to other people. It's about what you can experience and get back up from. I've taken a few psychological blows here and there. My family used to be rich. Now they're not. My dad was a very successful, very well-respected businessman, heavily influential in Republican politics, and now he's a felon, still in prison. But here's the thing, and I'll leave you with this. Toughness and personal integrity are things that will benefit you and will shine through no matter where you are. I mean, throw some hearts. How many of you would think that after going from the top to the bottom, that my dad is in a really bad place, that he's at a low point? Most of you would think so, right? But here's the thing. In a letter about maybe a year and a half ago, he said, I have never been more well respected, even as a wealthy corporate CEO, than I am here in the joint. And there's a reason for that. My dad is a brilliant guy. MIT, did his doctorate on engineering at MIT. A really smart guy. Well, he could sit there and be depressed about the fact that he's been in prison for 8 years or whatever it's been, 10 years, I don't even know. But what he's spent his time doing is helping his fellow prisoners file. He's helping them file because when they were unjustly imprisoned, and a lot of them are. An awful lot of them are. These people are there's nightmarish prosecution situations where some of these guys were not even in the state when the crime was committed, but their idiot public defender just told them to plead guilty, so they did. And so I haven't gotten an updated number. I'll have to get one, but as of 2 years ago, he had helped people get out of 1,100 years cumulative of jail. These are people who are already convicted, and he was able to demonstrate that they were in fact innocent of the crimes they had committed and so forth. And so these guys are 1,100 years of prison, these guys are. So guess how popular he is in prison. He says he's got these two giant guys who have appointed themselves as bodyguards who walk around with him everywhere, and they actually stand at the door to tell people whether they can come in. The dawn will see you now. And so the thing is that he is probably doing more good for society, or just more good, doing what is right in prison than he was outside of it. And so there's it doesn't matter what life gives you. Life can give you really terrible things. And I'm not saying that it's not terrible, but I'm saying that in many situations there is still a silver lining to be found. And if you're sufficiently tough enough, if you've got sufficient character, then you can focus on that. And it is a matter of mindset. I don't know if it's guerrilla mindset per se, But and yes, in answer to the question, my dad is a Christian, as am I. So, so you know, the thing is that I mean, I loved what the God Emperor said when he said at the inauguration, "Don't be afraid." Who's he quoting there? You know, Donald Trump may not be a religious man, but he certainly knows who said that. And so, yeah, and you know, there's a lot of good men who have been in prison. That was one of the first things I told my dad, as I said, hey, you know, the Apostle Paul was in prison. You're in good company. So, I would love to see my dad write a book. You know, it would be, if he ever does, we'll certainly publish it. But anyhow, that's all I've got for tonight. So hopefully tomorrow we'll see a lot of you over on Gab TV. If not, we will probably see you here on Tuesday. So have a good evening, and we'll see you soon.